make bread really quickly. Well, actually it's going to take 6.5 hours roughly, but this is a bread maker, and I'm making sourdough bread as in the description. And the sourdough bread is in here. It's already been mixed in its first mix. There it is. And over the next 6.5 hours it will be cooked and ready for us to eat. So it's much cleaner than trying to do it without a machine. I can do it without a machine too, but the machine just makes it so much easier. And I'm using my own activator that I started in a jar here. That's the activator there. I've just fed it again, so it will expand up overnight and be ready to make some more bread or whatever, or put it in the fridge for later. Sitting in here at a consistent temperature just to rise. It will be mixed through or kneaded every few hours, and then it will cook, and we'll be looking at it when it's done. But now it looks pretty good. It looks like it's going to come up really nice. So excited to get into our sourdough. The downside of doing sourdough in the bread maker is the paddle is in the middle of the bread still, so you've got to kind of dig it out and remove that thing, and it does remove some of the bread, of course, with it, so you get a bit of a hole in the middle of the bread loaf. But I think that's kind of a small price to pay really for the absolute convenience of doing it in the bread maker. While the sourdough is doing its thing in the bread maker, we have prepared a whole heap of garlic that was going to go bad, going to go off. It was actually starting to sprout, so then it starts to rot once it's done that if you don't plant it. We've got some apples from the shop and some parsley from the garden, so we're going to freeze dry it and turn the herbs into powder, and the apples are a really nice snack. There they are in the freeze dryer. This is a Dynavac 4 kilo freeze dryer, so it can fit about 1 kilo's worth of weight on a tray. And so this will be ready in about 24 hours, and it'll be hopefully totally dry, so there's no moisture in the food, which makes it last a very, very long time if it's packaged properly. So that's pretty awesome. I don't find this machine particularly to be all that loud. Once we go out of the room we can't really hear it. I'm not sure on the harvest right. I have heard people complain about the noise. I don't know if it's more noisy than this, but this is the kind of noise that this particular machine makes. And these are Australian company that produces them, so I like to try and support Australian wherever I can. And there's the screen. You probably won't be able to see that too good because of the speed of the camera versus the speed of the screen, but yeah, that's alright. Just tells you what degrees it is and what it's doing, whether it's drying or just waiting for you to come and get your food out. Our parsley, herb cut and garlic powder that we made from the freeze-dried garlic and the freeze-dried parsley. They were raw when we freeze-dried them. So the garlic powder has a really distinctive raw garlic smell to it, and the parsley still has a parsley kind of a smell to it and taste. They taste like raw parsley and raw garlic. So it'll be really good to use in cooking. And yeah, basically that's the herbs. And then the apples, we put them in a mylar bag with an oxygen absorber, and they could last 20 years if they don't go in our bellies first, which is highly likely. Chickens are going to love us with all these chicken scraps. We've got the garlic and the apple scraps from when we did the freeze drying. So the garlic is going to help control parasites and help fight any bacterial infections or illnesses that the chickens might have, and they quite enjoy it as well. They only get it every now and then. You don't want to be feeding it constantly, but yeah, that's our chicken scraps for today, for both the babies and the adult chickens, because we have some babies that we started from eggs that our fertile eggs, obviously, that our chickens had laid. These are the adult chickens having their morning feast. I think they quite like it. Here's all the babies getting stuck into their scraps.